What is up everyone and welcome back to a new video. And in this video I'm going to be talking about the top 20 bucket list coasters for next year. So the coasters I'm most excited for to ride the upcoming year. So we are ending this coaster season of 2018 and 2019 is bringing some really interesting coasters and theme parks to my list. And yeah, I'm really excited for what next year is going to bring, so I'm just naming the 20 rides I'm personally most excited for to ride. Now a couple things. One of the parks I'm going to this December actually, so the very end actually of December, which isn't officially 2019, but I'm still going to mention it in this video. I've got like only 2 coaster trips, like real coaster trips currently in this top 20. I've got 2 other parks that are near me that are getting a coaster that probably at least will ride. But then for the summer, so the end of the summer for next year, I've still probably got another trip. Really not sure what that's going to be, so I didn't want to include anything because I honestly don't know where I might be going. That also at the very end, so in October I turn 18, so I can drive to theme parks myself. So I might actually go to like Hersheypark to check out the new refurbished Colossus. Might go to like Walligator, Disneyland Paris. Parks like that I'm not currently including in this list because I really honestly don't know if I'll be going there next year. Hence why they're not on here. But this intro is taking way too long, so let's get right into the video now. So yeah, coming in at number 20 is Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm, which is a wooden roller coaster. And I've heard some really great things about this after the retracking that was done to it. So this is one of the only wooden roller coasters on this list. I wouldn't say it's the only one. But I'm personally not too big of a fan of wooden roller coasters. The only one I really like are Woden and Colossus basically. So yeah, I've got a really specific taste, so if it's close to anything rough or unenjoyable, I mostly not put on here. But Ghost Riders looks like a really solid ride with some good airtime and some really great forces. So yeah, really excited to ride that when I'm going to California. Then for number 19 is King Dakar, which is the tallest roller coaster on the planet, and it will then automatically be the tallest coaster I will ride. Currently that's Hyperion at Energylandia, but it will be topped by another coaster beforehand. But then yeah, I'll be riding King Dakar. I'm really excited to see what it's like. I've heard some really mixed opinions about this. So a lot of people say that Top Thrill Dragster is like miles better than it. It's really said to be rough, but I mean, it being the fastest coaster on the planet and the second fastest coaster. Did I say fastest last time? I meant tallest. That's just a really cool thing to achieve as a coaster enthusiast. So really excited to ride King Dakar. Then for number 18 we're going back to Knott's Berry Farm actually for Hang Time, which is a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster. Knott's Berry Farm opened this ride, and since the announcement basically I was really excited for this ride because by the time I had, when it opened I had ridden Sworder's Cairn, which is currently my number 1 coaster. Now I'm not at all anticipating this to be anywhere close to as good as that one, but still it looks to give some really amazing hang time, some good air time, so yeah, the overall feel of it should be really nice, and I really like myself a good infinity coaster, so really excited to ride that. Then next up at number 17 is West Coast Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now this coaster is set to open next year, so in 2019, And I'm actually not sure if I'll be able to ride it, but I thought I'd just include it because I'm going to Magic Mountain in, I believe it's June, the beginning of June. But I'm not really sure if it's even going to be open because they haven't announced an opening date yet, and the process of building it is going really sluggish at this point. So totally not sure, but when it does open, it looks to have a really solid layout. Just the only thing bothering me is the restraints, because I really dislike fast restraints, and it also has these shin guards, which I totally despise on the Skyrocket Model 2s. So Skyscream is the one I've ridden. I absolutely hated that ride because of the restraint system. So that's going to be something that I'll have to see. But the layout itself looks really interesting, and the dueling factor about it looks really cool. Then next up at number 16 is Superman Escape from Krypton. Which is a coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and this coaster looks just totally insane. The backwards launch is like so long and fast, and it goes up backwards, and then you've got this moment of vertical of 0G, so you go up vertically and have this moment of 0G and flow to airtime, which just the adrenaline rush I think will be really great, and I've heard some really good opinions about this coaster. At number 15 we've got Accelerator. So we've got a lot of coasters in California actually, but yeah, Accelerator is an Intamin accelerator model. It's around the same height as Stealth. It's taller than Ice Speed, but it's got like this extended layout compared to Stealth. And it's even got lap bars, which is the most exciting thing about this ride. It looks really good fun. I always love a good top hat, so I'm not too big of a fan of the Intamin overbank turns, so they are found on Expedition G-Force as well, which I wasn't really too big of a fan of, but we'll just have to see how it turns out. But overall this coaster looks like a really fun ride. Then coming in at number 14 is Storm Runner at Hersheypark, which is also an Intamin accelerator, but this time the coaster's got over the shoulder restraints, but in my opinion a superior layout. So a lot of people actually say accelerator is the better one out of these two, but I think they're really close, and it just really depends on the actual ride itself. If I ride them, what I'll think of it. But Storm Runner looks really fun. The snake dive it does is just absolutely amazing, and the launch looks like a really nice one as well, with the top hat that's actually not that actually doesn't turn 90 degrees at the bottom, so it's just vertically down, which is really cool in my opinion. So yeah, can't wait to ride Storm Runner. Then coming in at number 13 is a really unbiased opinion, is Apollo's Chariot at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I really love hypercoasters by B&M. I've only ridden Silver Star, which is quite controversial to state that opinion on then, but I am riding 3 other hypercoasters at least next year, which is really cool. So you don't only have to form that opinion based on Silver Star solely, but I so much like Silver Star that Apollo's Chariot is just a coaster that needs to be on this list. It looks to be weaker than Silver Star by the POV, but it still has some really nice flow to airtime hills, and the helix around the water and just the overall scenery looks really nice, and Busch Gardens Williamsburg overall looks like a really nice park. Then for number 12 you got Nitro, so another B&M Hyper, but this time at Six Flags Great Adventure. So this is one-upping Apollo's Chariot, and as you might see from the list, I try to put coasters that are really similar, like one space apart, because I don't feel like putting them like 5 or 10 spots apart from each other, because I personally don't know what I'll think of them. But yeah, these might be closer or further apart, but Nitro does look better than Polished Chariot. Looks like a really cool hybrid, so tall, it's got so many cool airtime moments. That helix is said to be super intense, and the final airtime hills look really solid as well. Then for number 11 we've got the first European coaster on this list, which is surprising because I am riding so many great American roller coasters and not so many European coasters, because I've basically done all the major parks I currently want to do, except for this one, which is Red Force at Ferrari Land next to Portaventura. Red Force is an intimate accelerator, and compared to King Dakar and Top Thrill Dragster, this has an LSM launch. And I'm personally a really big fan of LSM launches. I love the vibrating feel of the coaster train when it's moving over an LSM launch. The roar that Red Force has just seems so ridiculous, and just the height overall, the speed, everything, the adrenaline rush really makes me excited for that specific ride. Next up for number 10 is a really unpopular opinion. It is Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. So now that I say that, a lot of people would actually think this would be way higher or should be way higher, but out of personal experience I'm not too big of a fan of the over intense coasters, so I will just have to see how I like this ride. For example, a coaster that comes really close for the opinions is Leg Coaster. So that's also a super intense coaster. And the overall intensity of Leg Coaster was so strong that I wasn't that big of a fan of it. And I suppose the same thing will happen to Intimidator 305. Which is kind of a sad thing, as most people say it's like the best coaster in the world, or a lot of people actually think that is the case. But still, I'll just have to see how it rides. But yes, just overall Intimidator 305. It's the first real giga coaster I'm going to be riding, and I really can't wait to get on it. So next up at number 9 we've got a coaster I'm not completely sure I'll be riding, but probably so. It's at one of my home parks, which is Walibi Holland, and the coaster is called Untamed. I might be heading out here for opening day. I might not even visit this park next year. As a lot of people know, I'm not the biggest fan of Walibi Holland, but still this coaster looks pretty cool from what I've seen right now. And RMC is just such a really cool company. I've only ridden Wildfire and I thought it was pretty decent, but not as good as a lot of people have said, so I'm really curious to see how other coasters by the manufacturer turn out to be. And just the fact that it's an RMC being built in my country, like not even 2 or 3 hours away from me, that's just totally insane. So yeah, Untamed probably going to be a really unique and cool ride, and really excited to possibly, or most likely, be riding it next year. Then for number 8 we've got another RMC, which is Twisted Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride looks so cool with the dueling Mobius loop, and I just hope the staff will be able to duel the thing actually when I'm there, because I've heard that's a problem, that it doesn't duel, which is the main point of me wanting to ride this so badly. But in itself it looks like a really fun ride, a lot of cool inversions, the G-stall looks really sick, the R5 element looks great, and there's going to be a lot of airtime on that, so the double down I'm also looking forward to. And yes, Twisted Colossus is going to be a great ride to get on. Then sticking with RMC actually, next up is Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion. So again, I put RMCs right behind each other because I really don't know how to rank them on here, because they're probably going to be quite similar, and if they're not going to be anywhere close, I won't be able to tell beforehand. But yeah, Twisted Timbers, the barrel roll drop looks like a really cool element. It's got some nice inversions, some insane airtime, the double up, track double up, whatever that name is. But yeah, this coaster looks like a really nice one to get on, and it's really praised for the extreme hauling it does. So yeah, can't wait to ride this one. Coming up at number 6 is the only coaster in Europe I think will be able to get into my top 5, which is a coaster I've been dying to ride for so long. It's been on my top bucket list for such a long time here, and it is Shambhala at Portaventura. Now I'm so excited to ride this. It's been praised as one of the best coasters in Europe, if not the best coaster in Europe. Since I'm such a big fan of Silverstar, everyone's been wanting me to get on Shambhala. So I'm finally getting there this December, and wow, I'm hyped for this one. The airtime looks so insane. I just can't comprehend I'm going to be riding that within 1.5 weeks actually. It's just so insane. I literally cannot wait to ride Shambhala. Then coming into the top 5, which are the totally crazy awesome rides that could be very well be any number 1 coaster, or at least top 5 coaster, I suppose. So coming in at number 5 is Tatsu, which is a B&M flying coaster. Man, I love my flying coasters, and I've only been on Galactica, so I've got a lot more to ride personally. But yeah, Tatsu, I'm so incredibly hyped for that. The pretzel just looks really insane, and just overall, it looks like such an enjoyable coaster to just fly over the park, do a couple inversions. It's so much taller and so much larger scale than Galactica, which I'm not sure if it's a good thing, but I really like the concept of flying coasters, so Tatsu's really a ride I've been wanting to ride for such a long time. Getting to the top 3, we've got another really unpopular opinion, which is X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is like the epitome of total craziness, and it's just another level of canon in my opinion. And again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be liking it, if it's too intense, too crazy, or even too painful, but I'll just have to see. But just this is how excited I am to ride it, and X2 is definitely up there. I literally can't wait to just fly over that drop, plunge down nearly 200 feet. It's just going to be totally mental to ride that thing. Then for number 2, we've got Sky Rush at Hersheypark, also called Thigh Crush. Hence why I still, with this one, also don't know how I'm going to be ranking it after I ride it, but right now, this coaster just screams to be so high up in my list. The airtime on this is just totally insane, and knowing me, I'm a really big fan of airtime, and this is said to have some of the strongest ejector airtime there's to find, hence why you even just completely kneel your entire thighs with the restraints. And the drop on this coaster, it's just so insane. The airtime hills, the single dive, it just all really fits into a ride I would personally put really high up in my list, hence why it's at number 2. Then the number 1 coaster I am most excited for to ride in 2019 is El Toro. So this is a Intamin prefab at Six Flags Great Adventure, and wow, I'm excited to ride this. As I said early on in this video, I'm personally not the biggest fan of wooden coasters, but having ridden Colossus and Boulder, they're just such phenomenal coasters. So I absolutely can't wait to get on what is being called the best wooden coaster in the world. or at least one of the best. And this coaster is just so praised in the coaster community, and knowing I love these two other Intamin prefabs so much, I can't wait to experience some of the strongest airtime, the most insane drop, the rolling thunder hill above all. It's just so mental to be able to ride it, and I just can't comprehend I'm even going to be riding any of these coasters, mostly in America. I've been dreaming of riding them for a couple years now, and that I'm finally getting the chance to get out there is just so insane. But yeah, that was my top 20 of coasters I'm most excited for to ride next year. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, just give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the future uploads. And yeah, that was basically it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Tiny fractures.